This is one of those special kind of figures that you don't see very often. She is quite the work of art, but also pretty expensive, retailing at over 20,000 yen. Definitely not something that you would just randomly pick up. But I've been eyeing the modded Cyborg Runners based on AF Kuro's illustrations for quite some time. I did miss the pre-order for this one, so when I randomly saw her in stores, I just went for it. This is Kinetic Ash, a cyborg girly who specializes in videography. So let's see what she's all about. Spoiler, as much as I love the figure, she is not without some issues. This is what the box looks like. It's quite minimalistic and I appreciate the sleek design. That's what the side looks like, modded Cyborg Runner. And this is the other side. So there is a bit of an art there as well. So looks quite nice, and it's quite small and compact as well. So let's get her out. So inside the sleeve, this is what the actual cardboard box looks like. There's a QR code there in case you want to scan it. But the box, I think it looks pretty cool. So there's the top and there's the bottom. So I don't think there's any tape around here, so we can just open it up just like that. And you can pretty much see what we are getting. Inside, I believe there are a few layers of trays. There we go. Instructions, trays, so one layer there. And 3 layers in total. Let's see what the instructions say first, because it's not a cheap figure, so I would rather not mess anything up. So, modded Cyborg Runner, Kinetic Ash. There is a Japanese and English side, so of course we'll take a look at the English side. That is all the parts that are included. Something about the wheels, and I guess those are wings, and the stand base. And then more stuff about how to do things. On the very bottom layer, there are some, I assume, stand arms and stuff. There are some hands and the stand base. In the middle layer, there seems to be another stand base. I think you can open this one up and put stuff inside of it. And then there is a camera, and I believe that is a microphone. Finally, we do have the girly herself, and she feels quite hefty as well because there are some metal or alloy parts. So let's get her opened up. There we go. Out of the tray. So she's just wrapped up in the plastic there. And she's got some other plastic bits as well, just I believe, yeah, kind of just around her neck there. So getting that out of the way. Here she is. So let's take a look at the details. So face looking quite nice. Just kind of a neutral expression, but I think all the hair sculpting and the eye details and stuff are quite nice. So there's some decals and stuff around her head. And her hair is very hard, rigid plastic, so I would be very careful with it. The back hair is also super hard and rigid, so this is feeling more like a piece of art than something that you would kind of pick up and play with a lot, because you know, very expensive and you wouldn't want to break any of this kind of stuff. So do be very careful if you are planning to get one of these. I assume the others are very similar as well. Going down to the body details, just black, white and yellow, looking quite nice. Just the, I'm not quite sure what that says there, but everything is quite nice and neatly done, I think. Are these... Yeah, so these things are also very rigid, hard plastic. So everything just feels very like there's no flex or anything. So these are quite sharp. Even these, which I kind of expected to be a softer material, they are quite hard and rigid as well. So I don't think there's any soft plastic around this figure, which means that it may be a little bit fragile or delicate. So do be careful when handling this kind of stuff. Otherwise, details on the hands are looking quite nice. So there is some sculpting detail on the gloves there. So just some more decals around her on the sleeve there, 32. And she does have some metal parts on the legs as well. I'm wondering if... I don't know if that's metal or not. That might just be plastic, actually. So that might just be plastic, but you can see that there are some metal hinges there, so metal pins there. So this is kind of, I guess, her like exhaust system. So that's kind of the whole concept or basis around these figures. So what else do we have? Going down to the legs there. So the upper leg and then the lower leg there, it is all made of metal. So she is quite bottom heavy. Going down to the shoes, they are back to plastic. So details on the legs there, looking pretty nice as well. And then, yeah, just got a metal pin in there. Movement, everything feels very smooth so far. So that is good, very much appreciated. And then the shoes, kind of roller skates, I guess. These two front wheels will spin. The back one, yeah, the back one doesn't spin, so I think, unless it's a QC thing. So actually the back wheels do turn, but they are quite stiff, so they don't spin like the first two, but they do turn and move around. Oh, and it opens up like that, so that's pretty cool. We're gonna have to play with that in the articulation, I think. So that is pretty much what the girly looks like. Does feel good in hand, feels very premium. I think, yeah, it is in line with the price, how it feels. I just kind of wish the hair would have been like a softer plastic and then these parts as well. Maybe it will last longer in the long term, but that is assuming you don't accidentally like, you know, get it caught on something and break it. So it is in two parts as well, so that is quite interesting. What are your thoughts on her so far? We do have this wing thing, which is actually meant to plug into her back. So it just plugs in at the top there. It plugs in nice and smoothly, so that's good. So these do have flaps and they raise like so. And then I believe this one also moves. There we go. So there is a flap there which you can plug the stand into it, but if you don't have the stand, then you can just hide the hole like that. So two wings there, and then this thing also flaps about. So pretty cool details there. For articulation, let's try to do this carefully. So head will turn. Of course, just be careful of the back hair because once again, very, very rigid plastic. Yeah, it turns about that much. I don't know if you can turn all the way. You probably can, but I don't really see any reason to do that. And do be careful of these side hairs here as well because they are very rigid once again. She's quite spiky as well, actually. So nods. Of course, you can move the back hair out of the way quite a bit. So she can nod a good bunch. It's assuming that you move the back hair out of the way. So looking up, not too bad. And then looking down, whole bunch as well. Otherwise, head tilts a little bit. Once again, be careful of the side hair. So head range is not too bad. Otherwise, I don't think anything on the head moves. So these two are on just a metal pin, which is running through the back of the hair there. So it's not on a ball joint or anything. So two separate strands, goes up and down, and then goes up and down as well. I'm not sure if they're kind of getting caught on each other, so would just be careful with that as well. But it's pretty cool having the two strands being able to flap around in the wind like that. Although I will say I kind of wish it was on a ball joint and I could just pull them out, because if she just had short hair, then I wouldn't be as scared of moving or breaking something. But otherwise, arms raise up to the sides very well, very smoothly. It goes all the way up. Is there a butterfly joint? I'm not sure if there's a butterfly joint there. I don't think, yeah, there's no butterfly joint there. So forward reach, that much. Backwards reach, like that. So not crazy, but not too bad. Pretty standard stuff. There is some rotation there, and also a separate bicep rotation, which is good. And then she does have, these are double jointed elbows, I believe. So she can bend her arms that much, which is not crazy, but it's good. And so far all the movement is very, very smooth, so no issues there. Wrist, the cuff is a separate piece, so that can rotate. And then wrist movement, it is pretty standard, up, down, left, right, rotates, and it is on just like a little ball peg there. So yeah, so the cuff will get in the way a little bit, but it's not terrible, I think. At the back, so of course these things move, so the flaps there go up and down, and then that little thing that covers the joint hole, and then this thing will go up and down as well. For torso movement, let's see. So she will tilt side to side. Just be careful because there is quite a lot going on there. So she will tilt side to side that much, I guess. It is also kind of hard to like get a grip on her because she has so much stuff going on. So whenever you're moving around, posing around, just be careful where you're grabbing and where you're moving. And yeah, in particular the hair, because my fingers are like getting caught on the hair. But otherwise she will rotate like so. She will bend backwards and forwards. So forward bend is like that. So that's decent. And then backwards bend is something like that. So it's nothing too crazy, but with everything going on, I think it's sufficient. It's not too bad. And then this is kind of a floating piece. So it's not floating, it's like hinged on the side there, I believe. So that will kind of go up and down and help to cover some of the joints, especially when looking back like that. So quite an interesting sculpt. You can kind of see the back inner workings there. So it is a ball joint in the midsection there. Let's see. So for the legs, yeah, so there's not really any movement there. So rotation will just be at the ball joint that we just saw. For the legs, she will, so she can't actually split to the side that much. Let me move that thing back up if I can. Yeah, it's already all the way up. So let's see. She can't really split to the sides like that, but she can kick backwards and forwards quite well. Let's move her arms out of the way there. So backwards and forwards kick, pretty standard stuff. And let me just check. Yeah, so I don't think, yeah, so that is a pretty standard ball going into the upper leg there. So she can't actually kick to the side like that, unless I'm mistaken. I'll have a check afterwards, but I'm pretty sure she can just kick forwards and backwards. So range for the legs there, not too crazy, although she will have a thigh rotation there. Yeah, so just a pretty standard thigh rotation there. And then double jointed knees, kicking all the way, so that's pretty good. Going down to the feet, So this is very sturdy, nice and sturdy there, because it is made of metal. And then going down to the legs or the foot there, it does rotate or rock backwards and forwards. Does this thing move? So this thing also moves. This goes in and out. I'm not sure how far. I think that's as far as it goes. So just be careful with that. You will see there are pins like there, there and there. I'm not sure. Don't think there's any movement there. So yeah, it is. Just be careful with the movement. I don't think it'll break or anything because, well, it is metal, but it can be a little bit scary moving her around. So just take your time with it and don't force anything. So once again, front two wheels will kind of spin. And then you can also rotate the back wheel, except it is a little bit stiff. So articulation, that is pretty much that. Nothing too crazy, but I think gets the job done. Although I will say it is a bit scary moving her around, especially considering the price. I also just wanted to supplement that even though leg range is nothing crazy, she can still manage a pretty high kick, so that is cool. For faces, she has 3 total. By default, she has this kind of blank stare, blank neutral stare, just looking forwards. And the art style of the eyes and just face in general are quite interesting as well. To change the faces, of course, you pull off the front hair very carefully. Just wiggle it off like that. That is what the full face looks like, as well as the hair joint. Then wriggle off the face. There we go. That's what the joint looks like. And we can put on the other faceplate, giving her the hair back. There we go. For this second face, she has a very slight smile. I don't actually know if you would call that a smile or not, but she is looking to her right with a very slight smile. So there is some variation between the first and this face. For her third face, she is slightly looking to the left with an open mouth, kind of a surprised expression. So once again, just a little bit of variation there. The faces aren't too expressive, but there is some variation, and she doesn't really strike me as a super expressive character anyway, so I think it's okay, it's not too bad. She has a little drone thing, which looks quite nice. Nothing too fancy about it, but these things do rotate, so they do spin around, and there are holes at the bottom, so you can plug it into the stand. She has a tiny camera, so this part rotates, and then this part also rotates, and that is kind of what it looks like. This, I believe, is a microphone, so she kind of just chases the other cyborgs around, shooting photos, videos, and stuff like that. This is a big stand base, which can also be used as storage. There's not too much stuff on it. Modded Cyborg Runner. It says AF Kuro on the bottom, and you can open it up and put stuff inside. So the stand stuff is a little bit complicated, actually. So what you have to do is take this part out. So that is just a little stand base type thing. This thing here is the main thing that you need. So you take this, you plug it into there. Might need a little bit of heat if it's too cold. So what you do is take this thing and then you can plug it into that. And it should be able to tilt as well, but it is very stiff. So do use some heat if it is stiff. These things, I do believe, attach onto the stand arm rather. So something like that, I think, I hope. It is very tight there. You'll notice it is kind of on a ball there, so you can tilt the stand every which way as well. So that is pretty cool. This thing is meant to plug into her back after you lift this flap up. Although on my copy it is very tight, so I'll need some heat for that. But then you just attach this to this one or this one, And then that goes onto the stand. Although I gotta say, it's kind of Although I gotta say, all this stuff is kind of overcomplicating a little bit, I think, because why don't you just have like a single thing that plugs into her back, and then you don't have to have so many parts, but it is what it is. Like if you made this one into a normal shape, then you can just plug it straight onto there. I don't know why they felt the need to have that one. Maybe it allows for more dynamic poses and stuff, which I'm not familiar with, so I don't know. You can also use this thing, put it on the top there, and then get this thing, put it this way, I guess, this way. You can also do something like this, which is way too complicated. Or you can use this other one, which is a little less complicated. The best and easiest thing to do is probably just to plug it into her back like that, if you aren't doing any super crazy poses. She's got these two extra wheel things, which what you can do is you can wriggle these ones off like that. And what you should be able to do is, I think you put it on like so, but that is a bit ugly, so we gotta somehow get this white part out. Just find something small and you should be able to, poke it out just like that. And then what you can do is just plug it back in by aligning the things. There we go. And what significance does that have? Nothing really, just a color change. So I think the wheel is a little bit bigger, is it? No, they are actually the same. It's just that the white one looks bigger because that's what colors do. But I think having different colored wheels is pretty cool too. For hands, she's got 4 pairs total. By default, she's got your regular, just relaxed, open hands. A nice thing they have included is a little peg for each hand to avoid the hole from shrinking. So that's a nice detail to have. She's got a pair of these pointy type hands. And these also do have a hole in them, so you can use them to hold stuff as well. You can use these to hold the mic, which is nice and secure, so it's kind of like a trigger finger hand. For the camera though, it is a little bit loose, so it is doable, but it will flap around and might fall off if you're not careful. She's got a pair of holdy hands, so nothing too exciting here. There is a hole, and she can hold stuff with these. You can hold the camera with these, although it is still a little bit loose. And I just checked the instructions. Apparently you're meant to use the pointy hands to hold it there, which it's a little bit uncomfortable because the hands are quite sturdy. There's like barely any flex. So I don't actually know if I can get her to hold this without breaking anything. Yeah, so you have to kind of like jam it in there and then somehow get her fingers to open up. Yeah, so I can't do it. It feels like it wants to break, and yeah, there's not really enough leeway. I'm sure you could if you wanted to, but I also don't want to risk breaking it, so yeah, that is not a very good design. Finally, we do have a pair of good old fisty hands, so nothing too interesting about these. They are a pair of fists. As a summary for the stand stuff, so you use either of the stands. This thing plugs into the stands, this thing plugs into that, then you slot these onto the metal rod, goes into her back. That also can go into her back or the pack or whatever you want to call it. This thing will slot into the top, you attach these to that, and then you attach that to those. It's not too hard, right? Kinetic Ash is about 6 3/4 inches or about 17 centimeters. So she is quite the tall girlie. While the figure is fantastic, she is not perfect and honestly probably not for everyone. You kinda have to know what you're getting into. She's not really for picking up and playing with, and it's probably a better idea just to have her on display most of the time, with the main considerations being her somewhat delicate feeling hair and price point. For me, I also don't like the stand stuff. That said, Kinetic Ash is a super cool figure and I have no regrets for this kind of impulse purchase. Do let me know your thoughts of her in the comments. Thanks for watching and I'll see you again next time.